What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the
Put It in the Books, Season 3, Episode number 14. I am Steve, got Keith to my left. Mr. Rodriguez, right down here. And
hello.
As I slowly turn my attention to that corner, but my fingers are going all cockeyed over here. Joe, producer Joe. We are live. We are talking Mets. We have no new news on what's going on in baseball in 2020. There's a potential for some things to happen, but we still got some stuff to talk about. We'll take you up till right about 8 o'clock. And as we typically do here, I'm going to send this over to my buddy Keith to talk about some delicious coffee. And Rodriguez is
gone. You mean Stone Delicious?
Stone Delicious. What's up, Dom? Dom Sorrento.
So Farace asked me to slow this down because he has to share out, so I am going to slow this down.
I don't remember saying
this segment was brought to you by Stone Delicious IPA. Excuse me, Brooklyn Water Coffee Roastery.
Maybe next time.
Roastery to your front door. Try all of their delicious flavors now, not later, not in a little bit, but now. When? Right now. They got a ton of delicious flavors.
Why is he so slow?
You missed it. He said I asked him to go slower so I can share. I'm up to like 45 groups. It's ridiculous.
Oh, so should I slow down more? You got more groups going or what?
No, you're good. I'm gonna
BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. Check them out and use the code Stay Home right now. If you buy 2 bags, you get a 3rd bag free. There's tons of delicious flavors out there. You can try their high caffeinated line. It's 50% more caffeine per whatever serving. Cinnabuzz Jacked Up Cupcake, which is what we like to call our friend Rodriguez over here. What's the other? There's another one in that high octane line. I can't forget or remember.
Morningwood's
high octane too. Anyway,
if you can get it.
Other flavored coffees, you have Cinnabuzz. That's the one I always drink. You have your other flavored coffees, which is dark chocolate, which is a fine, delicious chocolate flavored coffee with how many calories, Farace?
0.
Boom. Then there's Winter Wonderland, one of my favorites. There's another one out there too. I forget the name of it. It's under the regular non-flavored coffees I want to try. But even their medium roast, which is their hands down most popular coffee, is amazing. You do not need to get a flavored coffee. However, I highly recommend it, especially if you're doing buy 2, get 1 free. Just give it a shot. Use the code Stay Home from their roaster to your front door, guaranteed to ship within 24 hours of its roasting. Check them out now, www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. Is that good for
I want to see Rodriguez. I want to see Rodriguez's stomach again. Come on, go up and down. Let's go.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, almost. No.
That was a tease, Rodriguez.
Okay.
It's teasing.
All right, so I do want to say one thing before we get started. You know how I share these all out. Some groups are more asshole-ish than others, but I will say that the Mets-Yankees rivalry group, I guess somebody deleted our show 2 weeks ago, and they were outvoted. They were outvoted by a Yankee fan and 2 Met fans saying it's Mets and Yankees stuff. Let the show air. So We appreciate you guys. I really do appreciate that. As do my buddies here. It's respect.
Dominic, be patient. That's on the agenda.
Hey Joe, how do you spell respect?
How do I spell what?
Respect.
Hurry up. This is going to take forever.
I know. I'm trying to think of something quick, but I'll just go with the
You could have just simply went RFPC. Find out what it needs to be. It would have worked.
And funny you mentioned respect, but we're going to talk about somebody potentially being disrespected. One former Met. But we do have a couple other things to talk about, and we'll get to that now. Maureen, yes, your favorite clowns are here to discuss New York Metropolitan Baseball.
Maureen, faithful
and I
viewer.
like that.
Definitely faithful viewer. All right.
Yeah,
So, cheers. Oh, this is what I wanted to say, and this is for you, Tim. I don't see you out there yet, but happy birthday to the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Today would have been his, I don't know how old he was, birthday, but happy birthday to Mach.
And happy birthday, thank you for reminding me, to Israel.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Tim is here. Unity for New York and for baseball in New York. All right, so we don't have much in the way of news for 2020 baseball. It seems as though much has stayed the same, with the exception of the owners potentially stepping back from that revenue sharing thing that the players were going to hate. So that might not happen. So that might be, a nudge in the right direction. And still waiting to hear back on, like what's that loser pitcher that left us to go to the Phillies? It's not important. He said he might not play if baseball play does have a season this year.
Why, you can't throw 70-mile-an-hour fastballs anymore?
No, Tim was correcting me. Today was not his birthday, Macho Man. It's the anniversary of his death. My bad.
Loser.
Yep, to the Macho Man.
Goes up your ass.
To the Macho Man. Oh, yeah.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea.
All right, so we won't talk much more about that, but we will talk about this. Anybody have any interest in bringing Big Sexy back?
Everybody does.
Just JT, Justin Timberlake said it best.
Find me one person that's opposed to bringing Big Sexy back. Find them, because you won't. Everybody wants Big Sexy back.
I did find one, and it was somebody who said, the old guy shouldn't take up a roster spot for one of the young guys. And my response to that was, I'd rather throw Bartolo out there for an inning here and there. I'd rather him than for reaching for a double-A guy or whatnot. But I know he's 46.
Oh, Bohan with the "I'm that person." I'd like to hear why, Tom. Tom, I'd like to hear why.
Oh, it was Tom.
Would bring Sexy back. I'd like to hear why you shouldn't bring Big Sexy back. Call in, Steve. Give him the number to call in on. Come on.
Well, the call-in's still not working, but I could get him, Tom, if you want. Just let me know in the comments here if you want to join us via video. We can make that happen. If not, he just said he spent 46. Joe,
if you want to be on video, you can close your video and we can still hear your audio.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you don't need to be on video. That's a very good point, Keith. I appreciate you doing that. All right, Tom says sure. So I'll give you the link here, Tom.
So while he's giving Tom the link, I'll just say real quick that with the proposed shortened season and the whole infrastructure, how they're looking to do the 2020 season if it takes place, they're going to do expanded rosters. I don't see where including Bartolo in that expanded roster and it as a backup to the rest of the team can hurt. We will use him. We will need him. It's a brilliant idea.
You cannot overstate his clubhouse presence.
Right.
Look at what he said. He said the best organization, and he played for 10 of them, from the kitchen staff to the old, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
He said the fans are the best in baseball. He would truly bring a great presence to the clubhouse. You cannot.
That comment alone is worth a reach around. And Janet have said it best. Bring him back. Maybe he'll hit another homer. The impossible will happen again.
The impossible has happened. All right. I just sent Tom the link. So Tom,
Tom,
if you want to join us, and like Keith said, you can either be on video or you don't have to be on video. You can just
that's
voice.
No problem.
I've met fewer true Met historians than Tom. He is truly a Met historian. I would love to hear his input on this.
Bring it on, Tom. Love to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like for clearly Cologne had the most amount of fun he's ever had in a Mets uniform. Or you know, you don't see him. Tom, I sent it to you on Facebook Messenger. You don't see him going out there working out at wherever in an Indians jersey or Rangers jersey or wherever the 15 other teams that he played for. It's always in Mets gear. You know, I mean, that's the guy who was in the dugout shaking his belly.
I think he became a man at point his life, you know, where he just like he started being more happy with who he is. And the Met fans completely embraced him, and all that was just a mixture of his enchantment with being a Met. You know, it's pretty cool.
Rodriguez, what you think?
I think if he can still pitch the way he used to pitch before, which basically coming in on the corners, nice, fast, 85, 88, in and out, slow and fast, very good control, very calm demeanor, never got flustered. I think he could come in and fill in an inning or two every once in a bit. You know, if it doesn't hurt us on the roster, which it shouldn't if they're going to have a 30-man roster. You know, I mean, how many of our young guys are ready to come pitch in the majors? It doesn't matter. If they're not ready, why bring them up? Just to give them some exposure? No, you could kill the kid's confidence if he's not ready. You got to make sure you have guys that are ready. And Cologne, you know, he comes ready. He comes in, pitches. If he pitches well, you keep him on the roster. If he doesn't pitch well, he's a guy that'll go like, hey, you know what? I gave it the old college try. I didn't have it anymore. Let me just go. And you can probably make some kind of arrangement like that with the guy. But
and he's a guy that can come into spring training at 280, and you'll be like, oh, Bartolo came in good shape this year.
And he can always pinch hit.
He's just a pitcher. He's just a pitcher.
He's the only
was there anything as entertaining as watching Bartolo hit? How many times did he lose his helmet?
The helmet.
Come on.
Screwed himself into the ground.
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring Tom on. Tom, welcome to the show, my friend.
Welcome, bro.
Hey guys, listen, if I want to show any proof to you guys about my Mets bona fides, I'd like you to see about 4 years ago, the Atlanta Braves had a Bartolo night in the couple of weeks before they cut him. And my son took the bobblehead and turned him into a New York Mets Bartolo Colon.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I mean, my son's got a lot of accomplishments, but probably his greatest accomplishment in life. Listen,
your son is.
I love Bartolo. I love Big Sexy. It's over. He can't throw to major league hitters. I mean, I love the 260-pound Bartolo throwing to the guys down in the Dominican. He has enough left in the tank. He's got so much pitching savvy. But no, we need to bring a guys up from AAA, AA, who can help the team. That's what we need now. I'd love to win a cheap title this year. I'll fight you if you tell me the Mets winning this year wouldn't be legit. But I'll tell you, let's bring some young guys up. Let's run with the older guys, and let's see if we can win a title this year and set us up for 21, 22, 23. There's a lot of talent on this team. Love McNeil. I think that Alonso is going to be the big slugger in the National League for the next 10 years. Let's not overstate this. And Jacob's looking a little bit Tom Severish. Hate to give him too much on his back, but boy, he is something.
So, Tom, first, let me just say, so grateful you're on the show. Thanks for joining us, man. And I think you might be talking some sense into me. You make me question myself, but not doubt myself quite yet. Because
you know what? There were many instances.
I love Bartolo. And sliding him in that extra roster spot that they're allowing us this year, if the season continues, sounds so sexy. No pun intended. Well, a lot of pun intended. But you're right. Pulling up a hot arm a kid who's trying to prove himself, who can sling 99 and throw it a hot slider instead of some crafty old veteran who's 46, who will probably get pinged a whole bunch, is probably the better idea. But it sounds so sexy bringing Big Sexy into those extra roster spots. But I agree. You're right. You make valid points.
Keith, let me tell you
it's
something.
like if you were, I'm a Giants fan as well. Do you really want Eli to show up in Week 8 next?
No,
next
right?
season?
But it's sexy,
Hell,
right?
I mean, it's nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
It's kind of like you'd love to see would love to have seen Straw do another turn with the Mets and bring that sweet swing back. But ultimately, does it make a difference? This is a good young team with a lot of potential. I don't want to take any innings away from some of the young talent. Listen, I know Syndergaard being out hurts the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to rather see another young gun out there throwing those innings. That's all I'm saying.
Can't argue with that.
Love Big Sexy, though. Love Big Sexy.
Yeah. Cheers, Tom. That really good take.
Joe's trying to get.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I had 100% firm opinion of something, and then would have a 5 conversation with Tom, and I'd be like, "God damn it, man, you're right."
Yeah, no, he just put me there, Joe. I'm with you.
She doesn't realize I'm on a major broadcast.
Major, like you don't get much more major than this.
Come on.
Hey, look, Tom. But before you go, we did a segment last week where we did the what did we call it? 2 weeks ago, Mount Rushmore of Mets.
Mount Rushmore, yeah.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of Mets?
Okay, I would tell you that Seaver, without a doubt. You got to then put Piazza there, our other Hall of Famer. You can't not do that. I'm probably going to go with Straw over Gooden. I know that's controversial, and I know people like David Wright, but Straw had better years with the Mets than David. I'm going to leave a spot for Jacob on my 4th spot.
Oh, wow.
Controversial. Hard.
You can't go wrong.
No.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, solid.
Hey, Tom, we appreciate you joining us.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. I got to run now, but great talking to you guys. I've watched your show before. Joey, I hope everything's down in Boca's doing well.
Good to talk to you,
Good
Tom.
job. You and your son had a health scare. How's he doing?
Yeah, no, he's doing great. Thanks for asking. He's doing 100%. He's real good now. Thank you.
Good, Joe. I've been praying for him, and I'm glad to hear that. Listen, can't wait to see the games back on, even with empty stadiums, and maybe some sex spots like they're doing over in Korea.
All right, take it easy, Tom.
We appreciate it.
Take care, Tom.
That was cool. You're talking about the sex dolls that they're putting in the stands in Korea.
Yeah.
What broadcast is he on, or was he pulling our leg? Is he actually on a broadcast? I mean,
he was talking about us. He was telling his wife that he was on an important show right now, an important broadcast.
I've never met someone with as much Met knowledge. I mean, we could have a conversation for 10 minutes and it would always amaze me the depth of the knowledge. He would remember games from 75 that this happened and this happened. I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was a Met fan.
I'll tell you what, he's right. That whole sexy thing.
And you know what? He's got a great point. He's got great argument. He's right. As much as our emotion says we'd love to have Big Sexy back because he would be great in the clubhouse and great for the fans, he's right. We're probably better off with a young arm, giving a young arm a couple of innings.
Especially with the talent that we have on the team. Why waste it by pulling somebody in that's probably not going to support it to the maximum level?
Yeah, I think it boils down to who would that other roster spot go to? Bartolo against who? And then you see what you got. If it's I still lean if he can do it, and that's up to our coaches to decide. I still lean towards having that vet come in the playoffs and down the stretch run and whatnot. But we'll see. Here's something I want to talk about. I just saw this a little while ago, and it's funny. We were talking about this. Guys who left New York, and what do we think about it? So, turns out they did an interview on the Fan. I think it was with Strawberry. So Darryl Strawberry says he now wishes he never would have left the Mets. Here's a couple of quotes from it. It was heartbreaking for me to leave New York. I was so used to Mets fans and what Met fans were all about, becoming a free agent. You let a player get down the free agent market and test the free agent market, he's going to test it. I don't want to get to that place, but I got to that place and was very sad in the fact that I had to leave New York. And then he goes on to say the fans are so different in New York than LA. LA fans come late, leave early. New York fans come early and never leave. They wait until the end of the game, whether you win or lose, and I was used to that. It was different in California because it was kind of laid back. Nothing against the Dodgers or their fans, just a little bit more laid back. He was used to the more aggressive fans. But I pause for a second when he says the fact I had to leave New York. Could have stayed with the Mets for a year less. Same money. Same money was offered. There we go.
Sorry, my big boy got excited.
And the other big boy left.
What happened?
What happened?
The other big boy got jealous.
All right. So what do you guys say about Strawberry saying I had to leave New York? I know people will regret.
BS.
Sorry, I was breaking out the peanut butter. I thought your dog was coming over here too. I had to.
No, you know what? That's a BS excuse. BS. You know what? If it's about, don't lie to us, Straw. I mean, it was about the money, dude. You know what? You could always have stayed in New York. You could try to rewrite history, but
he's from LA.
You have control over your own destiny. And but for him to say 30 years later, I wish I would have stayed in New York. It was a bad circumstance.
And I had to leave.
Yeah. No.
That's the part that irks me a little bit.
I first came out last time.
Yeah. Yeah. Keith, I don't know if you heard. I don't know if that's when you fell off, but the part where he said he was very saddened about the fact that he had to leave New York. Remember, it was the same.
My video dropped probably on purpose. I don't know what had to make him leave New York. I don't quite recall the circumstances. If we didn't offer him anything.
Well, the Mets offered him 4 years. They offered him 5 years, same amount of money per year annually.
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable. Not that I have to feel comfortable about this, but I would feel better about this if he would have just said what Rodriguez said. That's my hometown. I want to go play in front of my fans. And then, given that it's his hometown, he knew ahead of time that he played in New York.
About it.
He knew it.
We would all respect it.
Yes.
Every one of us. You know what?
And then that other part, right? And then the other part where he says, the LA fans are different. You know that. You grew up there. You played in front of New York fans. You were in the stands at Dodger Stadium. So you know that already. So that's another BS excuse. I don't buy it.
Plus the odds.
I think it has a lot.
When he gave the interview, the odds that he was high are like 75%. So,
unfortunately,
well, now he's clean, right. But back then,
wow.
I think his decision had a lot to do with his addiction. He's going to go back home. He's going to go where he's comfortable. He's got to know where the connections are, where the hookups are. Not that he didn't know here, but it's kind of like when you're in a desperate or a low place, you want to kind of go home where things are familiar. And I think that had a lot to do with it because he was in a really bad addiction spot. I mean, I don't think he was full through his first full year where he had to go to rehab over there. And I don't quite understand what that kind of addiction is. I don't want to understand, but I do know it's serious. And I would like to think that a lot of his decision making was attributed to that addiction. And now that he's a little more clear-headed, he's saying, in hindsight, which is always 2020, blah, 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 as they always say. But in hindsight, maybe I would have been better suited staying where I was. But, his addiction will follow him wherever he is because his addiction is his personal issue. It's not a geographical issue. So he can say whatever he wants. Like Joe said, it's something that he had to figure out about himself, not where he is, whether it's the Mets, Dodgers. He probably would have ended up in rehab if he stayed with the Mets. So kudos to the Mets for not giving him that 5th year. But, hey, I love Darryl, and I'm glad he's good now. I'm glad he sorted himself out eventually. I think a little better than Doc did. Doc still seems to have some kind of struggles if you look at him from time to time in personal appearances. And
there's something going on there for sure.
Yeah, it does, right, Rodriguez? And it makes me sad, because I know it's not always it's a struggle, right? So I hope
it's not a personal choice. It's not a personal choice.
Not always, right?
Not now, not at this stage. Now it's just the addiction that doesn't let go. Yeah.
Doc was so polarizing when he was in New York. How many Met players, how many baseball players had their own building behind with an entire side of the building mural?
Pretty much. The whole building.
Right. So he was so polarizing. He was, when Doc was on the mound, if you were alive back then and you knew Doc was on the mound, you were glued to the TV or you were trying to get those tickets. And you didn't care where you sat because you wanted to be there or you wanted to witness Doc pitching. He was amazing. And, he had those personal struggles and it killed him. It's not about us, because it's about him and his struggles, but it is what it is. Darryl was able to get through it. He's a little bit better on the other side. And maybe he's having a little more clarity.
Well, looking at it as fans. As people, they've had a really rough life as people. As fans, for our team, we don't want them back on the team,
Right.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I could just say I went there for the money. I wanted to play in front of my hometown. That was it.
Right.
And then you realize how good you had it, how much your hometown sucked.
Which also means that Strawberry didn't know. Even he doesn't know his own fans. In New Yorkers, we want to hear the real part of this. We don't want to hear, I had to go and I didn't know the fans were different. But yeah. And then Dwight Dr. K is a good hitter too. No pun intended there. But what we did not do last week.
I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, we did not do. We had it, but we went long last week, and we did not do our.
And now it's time for the Mets moment of the week.
Moment of the week last week was actually brought to you by Mr. Rodriguez. So now we have to move. Joe has his. We'll move that to next week. But Mr. Rodriguez, and it is just like the thing that we think about every single time we just close our eyes as Mets fans. And it's phenomenal.
Is it?
It's great. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Why don't we? I think I could do
I'm gonna
this
I gotta take the video off.
Are you gonna shed a tear? I would hope so. You gave it to me.
I just had another beer delivered to me before this started.
Oh, you just say beer me. Throw the hand up.
My door just opened and hand came through. It was a pretty
No. I want to see when Rodriguez throws you the coffee. I want to see the beer get tossed to you.
Well, Rodriguez is a pitcher, so you only throw strikes.
That's true.
Oh!
All right, let me get this banner.
Baby.
I'm not emotionally ready for this.
What do you mean? All right. And it's going to happen again this year, and just not in the same fashion. Here we go, people. The New York Mets, moment of the week.
Go.
Wait, hold on. Let's see the perfect pour here, Keith. On air, live, perfect pour, little blue at the top.
The little blue at the top is perfect.
Little heady, Joe, did you go off camera because you don't want to see anybody? You want everybody to see you cry? right, here we go.
When everybody to see me to smoke a cigarette.
It's okay. We're not advertising. Here we go.
Oh,
5 in a delirious 10th inning. Can you believe this ball game at Shea? Oh, brother. 3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roll along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it. If one picture is worth 1,000 words, you have seen about 1,000,000 words.
Hojo.
But more than that, you have seen an absolutely bizarre finish to Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. The Mets are not only alive, they are well.
And the pitch by Stanley, and a ground ball, tripling. It is a fair ball. Hit by Buckner. Down the third night. The Mets will win the ball game. The Mets win. They win. Unbelievable. The Red Sox in stunned disbelief. A slow ground ball went right through the legs of Buckner down the right field line. The Mets have won the ball game. 3 runs in the bottom half of the 10th inning.
Cry, bitch, cry.
Tears of joy. Tears of joy, baby.
Oh, the Vince Scully call. Oh, man.
Come on.
We had
Come on.
Scully. We had
Murphy.
Murph. And we had what's his name?
Career-wise is probably better, but that call, Murph is better.
Kiner?
No. The other guy was the one that said the Red Sox were in stunned disbelief. That's Gary Thorne. He did that. That was him.
Oh.
I think the radio.
Gary Cohen.
Gary, yeah. All right. So that was 1986 against the Red Sox. Screw you, Red Sox.
That's actually.
It's great.
Yeah, I think I
Favorite moment of all time.
I have the picture of Buckner and Wilson autographed.
So
Yeah.
do I. We all do.
Yeah,
Poor Buckner, just for years and
Poor
years.
Buckner, my ass. He made a career out of that play. He made a living out of that play. I mean, he
No,
made a career out of
He was
career
pretty
out of
close
great
to the Hall of Fame.
he made a great baseball career, but he made a living out of that play for another 20 years.
That's all anybody knows. Like for all this time after, you could poll people. They don't know anything about Buckner's career, which they didn't know anything about how Bill Buckner played as a player.
He's a poll expert, but yeah, go ahead.
He's like a pesky little bastard. He rides poles. So
just a couple of comments from Tim here, talking about the new stadiums. New York fans still get there early, but don't get their seats till the fourth inning because of the fancy lounges and bars.
Stop. I disagree with you, Tim. I disagree with you 100%. The fans are still their asses are in the seats before that first pitch. It's all the executives and the fat cats in the lower section. They're all back at the bar and in the lounge hanging out, and that's why you see empty seats behind home plate for the first 2 innings. The real fans are in their seats before the game starts.
I hear craziness going on in my house. It's hysterical.
They're celebrating the Mets.
Yes, it's just my family.
Yeah. The real fans are butts are in. If I'm not sitting down by first pitch, I get really annoyed. I'm like rushing. That's why going to games down here is all good because you just get there 5 minutes till first pitch. You go get your food, your beer, and you're at your seat at before game time.
Hey,
nobody in the lines.
You're throwing a no-hitter.
Yes. Tim also says "Had to Go" by Strawberry was code for get away from New York City nightlife or his wife will kill him. And then his aunt was there at the 86
Good
game
point.
6. I like it. Look at a lot.
You'd hardly believe Tim was a Yankee fan.
Remember that fan when we were at that Marlins game and I kept yelling at the guy throwing no-hitter and the guy was telling me, "Shut up," and I went, "Make me."
Yeah. And then he looked over at you and was like, "Okay, no, thank you." But just to repeat, Keith at that game, this kid was throwing a no hitter against the Mets in the 6th inning, and Keith is just like screaming, "You're throwing no hitter!" And there's 6,000 people. There's 6,000 people at the game, And
The whole stadium heard us.
deep center field, they heard him in the Clevelander, bro.
Yeah. I'm from New York. I'm from Woodside, New York. When I yell, you know I'm talking, just like
The
most
roof-
New Yorkers.
The roof is
So-
closed and it's just echoing throughout the park. It was
When
pretty
we
damn
run up
good.
here, we're hurt. And the
All
guy
right.
was like, "Shut up."
Hey, cheers to the 1986 New York Metropolitans.
Let's go.
Cheers.
I remember watching it with my father. That will live in infamy. Actually, before that play, I ran down to the bodega on the corner. I forgot what I was going for, but probably a snack. Ran down real quick, and they had it on in the bodega. So I watched a half an inning where the Boston batted, and then I ran from the bodega back to my house, and I caught that half the inning on my TV in my living room with my father.
You know, I thought that in 2006, I felt the same vibe as I did rewatching like the Mets Red Sox game, because the Cardinals scored in the top of the ninth. The Mets are loading up the bases, and let's talk about our next subject now.
Move on.
I did. Look, bam.
Why are we talking about
All right.
walking a winning run? Next subject.
Ugh.
Here.
Let's talk Jose
Kenny Rogers?
Dangerfield.
I thought you were going to talk into Kenny Rogers.
No. So Rodriguez brought this one up a couple weeks ago. This is one of the things that we did not get to last week. But does Jose Reyes, I don't know why I almost said Rodriguez, Jose Rodriguez. Does Jose Reyes get the respect? I don't know why that happened. Does he get the respect that he deserves as an all-time Met leader in certain categories? He played alongside best left side of the infield, Reyes and Wright, like vacuums on that side, don't hit the ball on that side. Stolen bases, batting title. Do you guys think that he gets the respect that he ultimately should get as a baseball player?
All right. I'll just say real quick. Hands down, Mets best all-time shortstop. I think you can't dispute that. And I think
Better than Ordonez?
Huh?
Better than Ordonez?
Okay. Ordonez with the glove for a couple of years, nobody was better.
There you
As
go.
a Met, as a shortstop in their career, nobody is even close. Not even the same atmosphere, stratosphere, galaxy as Reyes. Nobody. I mean, there's some iconic Met shortstop, but nobody compares to Reyes. And no, he does not get the respect. People overlook him so much. Everybody wants to talk about Strawberry, Gooden, this guy. Even the Mount Rushmore 5. Did anybody even mention Reyes?
No.
Okay, and let's look back. I didn't either, and I'm guilty of it, but I'm saying let's look back. Is he deserving of even a consideration of that position?
No.
Consideration, yes.
Listen, Reyes, in his prime, right before he left the Mets, Reyes was an unstoppable force on the base paths, over 300 hitter. He developed some pop. He was basically a Gold Glove infielder because he had base to both sides with a gun. All right, this guy in his prime could be in the top 3 Mets baseball players of all time, talent-wise. If you really think about everything he contributed in the season, and that's why I think think about his game, Joe. Think about let's just say the guy stole bases, played great defense, hit for average, started hitting for power. Okay, and this was for a couple of years. Then he ended up going to the Marlins. He left us for 4 years. We got off. We lost some good stats from that guy as a Met. Could have been
that one. I'm not even upset about.
Yeah,
300 stolen bases in those 3 years. I mean, those 4 years. 200 stolen bases. Another 100 home runs. I mean, we lost a lot of stats. He would be really, really up there with any Met. Maybe even as the captain.
We're Met fans, so man, he was hurt. Okay, he played mostly with us. He did have injuries, but most good players do. Okay, And Met players, he was hurt. But if you look at what he did for us, I'm not saying, Joe, and I get that. I'm not saying he's top 5, but I'm saying he is definitely in the consideration and up for a very considerable argument of that top 5 category.
I don't know about top 5, but I go with everything Keith says. Rodriguez, I'm sorry, you're a little bit wrong. Even there's no way he could come close to the top 3 Mets. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, maybe if he had stayed with the Mets for those prime years,
That's what I said.
with the Marlins.
And that's why I said that's the one. That's one of those guys that I don't blame at all. We didn't even offer him a contract. So,
Well, the Marlins also offered him a ridiculous contract for Archie. Come on.
What? Yeah.
Was it 4 years, up your ass millions? I mean, come on. It was way
4 years, right?
Was it 4? I thought it was 7.
$100 million, $110 million, or something like that. It was a lot of money.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money.
I'm gonna try to look that up right now.
It wasn't a good. It wasn't a bad decision. It was just a decision.
Yeah, no, it was during that downturn with the Madoff stuff. So whatever, it happened. Whatever. But if you look back, if you go on YouTube and look at Jose Reyes highlights, he had some clutch hits.
Oh, amazing!
There was one in particular that I always remember from Reyes. It was like the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Mets were down by a couple runs, and he was a bad ball hitter also. He swing at balls up here and somehow get a hit. He took this curveball from I don't remember who, but curveball that almost hit that dirt, and he stroked it out for a 3-run shot to give the Mets the lead. Like he was a clutch, and he's a clutch guy. I think the off the field stuff kind of plays into this a little bit. That's why I wanted to say at the very beginning, as a baseball player, as a Met, you can't argue with that. He is an all-time Met. Maybe
I'm
not top.
judging him on baseball. I'm not judging him on off the field stuff. This is just baseball to me.
Yeah,
it was
Keith,
6
what you got?
$102 million. With a 7th year option for $22 million. Guess when we picked them up? Oh my God!
In the 7th year?
Wow! Yes. What the friggin'?
Oh, but wait! I don't think we paid that. I no.
Right, the Colorado. Some of that, but come on, like we picked them up in his and that option was like. I don't know if it was a player option. I got to look that up. I mean, I would hope it's a player option. I don't know who would pick him up for that at that point.
Well, he got off to Toronto anyway. The Marlins did one of their classic patented sell-offs and traded everybody to Toronto.
Well, remember, so for the Mets, he went to Miami. He played 162 games, and he went to Toronto and he played, 2 years. First year was 93. Well, Miami, he played 160 games in Miami, and then he did 93 games in Toronto, and then his following year he did 143 games with a 287 average, 9 homers, and I don't know how many stolen bases, 30 stolen bases. So he had a good year. His on-base percentage was 328. Could be better.
He was never a walker. Remember? He was never a walker. Remember? He was.
No, he was a swinger.
No, he was a swinger.
He was a swinger. He's a McNeil.
And his last year in Toronto, he did 143 games. I think at the end, or somehow he got traded to Colorado. No, his 5th year to Colorado, and then the last year to the Mets. So his 6th year and then 7th year with the Mets. And I think Colorado picked up part of that because he played 60 games with us in 2016. And I think it had to do with something with his suspension for domestic abuse.
Yeah, it was something around there.
But then he played 2 more years with the Mets. He played 145 games in 2017, and then 110 in 2018, which was, as we all know, David Wright's retirement year. So he played.
And that's the year that he really kind of fell off, right? The year before at the Mets, he started off short.
How many games did he play in 2018?
110. So his total career with the Mets, of his 16-year career, he played 12 with the Mets, 1,365 games. He has a career average of 282. on base percentage career of 334. I think his stolen bases was 408 with the Mets. Yeah, 408 stolen bases with the Mets only. As a player, it was 517.
I think if he would have had a higher on base percentage, he would have had a much, much better chance of being in my personal Met top 3. I mean, 334 for a stolen base guy. Come on.
But let's go from 2005 on. 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. He had those years games played 161, 153, 160, and 159. Hits 190, 194, 191, and 204. Stolen bases 60,
an insane stretch.
56. Average 273, 300, 280, 297.
That's
and home run 12. Yeah, so I mean he did a lot of
hold on. You stopped before the on base percentage.
Okay, the on base percentage was not that great. So if we're gonna go from that same mantra starting in 2005.
Yeah, have everything.
Well, let me finish. 300.
Well, I know, but I like the way he stopped before the OBP because it's like
but his on base percentage. No, hold on.
But he didn't know how to take it.
Let's correct that because if you listen to the stats, it was actually really good. In 2005, not so much, 300, right? But he went from 300 to 354. Repeated that in 2007 with 354. 2008, 358. 2009, 355. So he's very consistent.
Okay.
And then if you go back to his run scored, which is to me counts a lot, right?
That's over 100, right?
Again, 99, 122, 119, 113. It's pretty productive.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think there were some years that we didn't even score 120 runs for the whole season. This guy's
He was doing a whole entire enchilada for us.
It's like Farace said, man. He had a habit of swinging the pitches that were 3 feet over his head or in the dirt, you know.
At his face.
That was really bad at the end of his career.
Yeah.
He was bad at the end doing that.
Yeah.
The bat speed left him. So he didn't have the speed to compensate for that. So
right. He compensated a lot, right, Rodriguez? He had a lot of other talents that compensated for his flaws, and at the end of his career, his flaws overwhelmed the compensations because of the age.
What did he hit that the year he won the batting title? What 331 or something like that? The only Met in history to win the batting title.
So I just dropped my mouse.
I thought it might have been higher than that. Actually.
The year he won the batting title, he batted 337. Before fast forwarding all the way to, and I was just doing that little span. So he's been with the Mets obviously a lot longer than that, right? So in 2011, he won the batting title with the New York Mets. He played 126 games, and if you remember, at the end of the year, it was a battle between at bats. Like he almost did not make the criteria for winning the batting title. He batted 337, and after he batted 337, if you go across his stats a little bit. He only struck out for the whole entire year out of 537 at bats, 41 times, which is amazing.
All right. There you go.
But he had 43 walks, you know. But still,
he was never a walker. Yeah.
Yeah, he was never a walker. He had 39 stolen bases. He had 16,
which is what separated him from being on Mount Rushmore. If he was a walker with his stolen base and speed, he would have been on the Mets Mount Rushmore. He would have been Ricky Henderson territory.
Agreed. So there's a lot of things that kept him off it. But can you say he's
if not a Mount Rushmore, then at least a statue. You don't have to carve out the whole side of a Mount Rushmore.
All right. Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you can make a strong argument for top 5 Mets of all time. I don't think he'll make it. But he may.
I don't either.
He may.
I don't either. Definitely top 10. Definitely top.
High 100%. Top 10.
Yeah.
Mr. Laris is on. Hello, my son. He says, and George says Reyes is top 9.
Bob.
Random number there, but
George is right.
I'm with George. Okay, yeah, George is right.
Catch any fish like that?
Players.
What was that, Rodriguez?
top 9 offensive players in Mets history.
Oh yeah.
You know,
His defense was pretty damn sharp too. But I mean, like if Joe
That
mentioned
arm.
Joe mentioned Ordonez before. I got to be honest, it was about a 2 or 3 year stretch. I have never seen a glove like that in baseball, let alone Mets history.
Ordonez was
Yeah, 98, 99. Yeah.
It was like a
yeah.
free. Well, 96. You got to remember, like it was opening day. I almost went to that game. Had to skip school, but it was the game where somebody hit a ball down the left field line. Gilkey threw it in. Ordonez, it was a bad hop. It was raining and nasty. That's probably why I didn't go. And Ordonez picks it up a hop on the outfield grass and foul ground from his knees. Throws the guy out at home. And it was Howie Rose and Fran Healy doing the call. And Howie Rose was like, Ordonez from his knees, and he got him. And then he turns to Fran. He says, he threw him out from his knees, Fran.
George and I was at a game. George comment to tell you this if he remembers. We were at a game. There was a slow grounder between first and second. Ordonez charged from shortstop behind the pitcher, dove in air, barehanded it, threw it to first. Before he even hit the ground, the player was out of first. The guy was like such a marvel defensively, but he was a 200 hitter. You can't survive as it. I mean, and some teams you can if your glove is that good, but then walk, lean into the pitch or something, dude. Because his that first year he started hitting. I'll look up his stats
at the beginning.
He was like a 280 hitter. If that guy can hit 280 with 300 on base percentage in that glove, Hall of Famer.
Like, there's no if this guy can hit at this level, like nobody else has said. It was kind of like Alonso sucks as a first baseman.
So amazing! I've never seen such talent in the field. Never. Even Ozzie Smith. He put Ozzie Smith to shame. But his whole mentality between him sucking at the plate, it kind of started catching up to him, and his glove started slowing, and that was done for him. Like he
in 1996 or 7, it might have been 97. I would listen to the fan WFAN probably every time I had the radio on 24 hours. Yep. And I remember calling in. Do you guys remember Iron Eagle?
Oh, yes.
I remember calling into the Iron Eagle show because he's talking about Ordonez versus Jeter. And I remember saying, you're crazy, Ordonez. Ordonez is the guy. Ordonez is the guy you want, I
remember in the Subway Series when it first started, Jeter hit a shot over shortstop. Ordonez leaped and caught it out of the air. And me and George were like, Ordonez, baby, the better shortstop in New York. But unfortunately, his longevity just didn't last.
Yeah, no, it didn't. And he never got on base. That was his problem.
Couldn't hit his weight. Okay. It's a
lot. Ordonez, when he first came up, played 151 games, batted 257. Then he down to 216. Then he hit 246, and then 258, and then it was done. 188.
Like 188.
If you were to stay in that 250 range
and be a starter, come on.
We could hit 188.
I can lean across the plate and get a 300 B.
So the first half of the season.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, he was the best I've seen defensively in a Met uniform at shortstop. Reyes is secondary, and then you got Buddy Harrelson. I remember him. But other than that, no one else kind of jumps out at you from shortstop.
Come on, Keith Mitchell, baby.
Howard Johnson.
Actually, Hojo played pretty well over there.
Hojo was
a third baseman.
But we're talking shortstops here.
Yeah. No, I'm messing with
you.
Hojo was a shortstop.
He's a third baseman. He didn't have that fluid.
Yeah, it's true. He's known as a third baseman, but
I was just messing with you on that.
Reyes,
Hojo Superman.
Historical Mets players is often overlooked because 50% of the game was crap. The other 50% of the game was 100%. This is like a definite Yogiism. 50% of the game was 100%. That was crap. So he didn't make the cut. Some Yogi
did well there. Joe wants to know if we play MLB The Show. I do. and I'm trying to catch up.
Old version.
Rodriguez plays the old version. I'm trying to catch up because if I give you what I'm doing right now, it's like April. And then, this is a little tidbit of information. Tim Tabala told me today. He played. There's a version of the show. It's I think it's called Road to the Show. It's when you are a minor leaguer and you get drafted and whatnot. And guess who Tim Tabala got drafted by?
The Mets.
The New York Mets. He's a rumble pony.
Blue blood was.
He's a rumble pony.
You know what it is? He's
a good guy. Listen, you can't say nothing bad about him. Even though he's a
You know what?
He really is a good guy.
Tim Tabala is making me hate Yankee fans a little bit less. I hate to admit it.
Tim should have wore this in his draft day.
Or you could hate him more because they all should be like Tim Tabala.
Tim, I'm gonna wear this for you, bud, because you're a Met.
Joe,
Tim,
we appreciate it.
Hey, Joe.
Welcome to the team.
On Twitter, Joe, just so you know, on Twitter, every night SNY does a simulated game with the Mets as if they're playing a season, and they often have the Mets announcers calling it. So if you follow SNY on Twitter, the show, you'll enjoy it.
They have a blast with that too. They had McNeil on one night, and he came up. He's doing part of the broadcast, and he hits a home run in the game. And then they have that show that Steve Gelbs hosts with the boys. And I told you guys the other day that Keith Hernandez just I don't know what, it just struck me so funny that Gelbs took his hat off and he was like, man, his hair. And he was like, where'd you get that toupee? Walgreens? I just died. I like Keith Hernandez. Like that guy is the best. Like
Walgreens, huh?
He better not ever leave.
Keith Hernandez is all of us,
Yeah.
Real quick, Bart said that best in his peak, best defensive shortstop, better than Ozzie. I agree with that. My father, real quick, said that best Mets table setter was Ricky. Can't really argue.
Poker table.
But it was a poker table too. And Joe had said that he thinks he wants to know if we will get the MLB season started in July. What do you guys think?
I'm pretty confident. We talked about it a couple times, but I'm pretty confident that come July 4th weekend, because it just makes that impression on July 4th weekend as American baseball, apple pie, Chevrolet, that it comes back on July 4th weekend.
It depends on when they report.
Yep.
Hey,
from whenever they report, they give them 2 weeks.
Joe, go back and listen to the last 4 shows. We've been discussing it
a lot,
extensively. The last 4 shows about whether or not there's going to be baseball.
Got any more than baseball?
Every one of us wants baseball. Every one of us wants.
They will try to follow the script of Mike Piazza 9/11 and carry on to the chivalry and the American patriotism, and like Steve said, join around July 4th All-Star break and jump into the mix. Try to ride on the hearts of Americans.
And I think they do that, and I think they are on the grand stage by themselves, baseball, and that's their opportunity to kind of say, look, baseball's cool, baseball's fun. There's no NBA, there's no football going on, there's nothing going on at July 4th weekend.
It's Mike,
training camps,
all that stuff. It's Mike Piazza post 9/11. Here we are. The country is desperate. Here it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're following the same script. Yep.
Joe, we appreciate the follow. Let's get into this.
It's social media time.
Social media time. Let's get to that real quick.
Was that your preparation? Like shaking your hat like that? Is that how you prepare? The me pointing that ruined you? That's terrible.
Whew. I'm spent. All right. Twitter, Instagram at the PIITB show. Facebook group is the Put in the Book show by CineSportsTalk, which it says right down there. Keith, can you point that out for everybody? And Rodriguez, can you guys that banner down there? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Don't boss me around. Don't boss me around.
I said, can you do
Don't
me a
tell
favor?
what to do.
Don't tell me what to do. YouTube and Snapchat is at CineSportsTalk. The Facebook fan page is the Put in the Book show without the by CineSportsTalk. Joe, what I didn't even ask you at the very beginning. What are you drinking tonight?
Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess.
Root beer and whiskey.
That's right, baby. Screwball.
Screwballs are just so
Yeah,
good.
I really like Screwball, but to me, it's like eating a box of cupcakes. I like one cupcake. Eating 12 cupcakes is like, ugh. Like I'd rather just have that whiskey where I just pop, you know.
Just a bottle. Just do it. Just the whole bottle.
Hey, look at that. Tommy's still with us. Hey, Tommy, thanks for coming on the show tonight, man. It was good to talk.
Thank you,
We
Tom.
appreciate that.
Joe, thanks for following us.
It's a fun little thing to have people join us on video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was
a little
really
bit more. Keith, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Uh-oh.
Keith's Fwakata of the week.
Oh, I got a Fwakata for you.
Yes.
I got a serious Fwakata for you.
Joe, you got to angle it. You know.
It's angled. It's angled.
Keep going.
It's angled.
You'll make adjustments as you get there. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do.
I've had serious issues.
Wait, hold on. Before the Fwakata, Tim got promoted to Syracuse. Congratulations, Tim. He's in Syracuse. Hey, he's playing with Tebow.
You're on your way to the real team, the blue and orange. Don't forget to deal with Tebow, and don't forget to get ready to play in the real New York team. So I've been hearing a lot, especially since a lot of this talk has come up since about baseball in general coming back. And this Fwakata I've been thinking about all week. You know, there's a lot of back and forth. So all the people that are fourth, screw you. We can't come back. It's not safe. I get it. Listen, I am foremost. I have stayed my ass home to the point where I'm losing my freaking mind. So if you want to talk about safety, I'm all for it. However, we do need to get back to life. And if we're going to start playing games in empty stadiums and start isolating players so they can get in the field, then so be it. Let's get baseball back. Let's get life back. Let's get America back. Let's get some normalcy back. And if that means watching baseball with nobody in the stands and an umpire standing 3 feet back with a robot ump and everybody playing DH, then let's freaking do it, okay? And all you people out there who say otherwise, Fwakata!
Bam! You got me energized there.
Yeah, me too. I'm on board with that, man. That was good.
Safety. I'm not saying forego safety, but let's do it. Let's get life going.
No matter what it takes, let's see some baseball.
We can live and we can adapt and we can slowly progress back to where we were. But it doesn't mean we need to completely regress and stay regressed. Stop it. Get over it. And all you people who want to cry, guess what? This is America. We have freedom. You can stay your ass home. Bye.
Let's do it. And let's be safe about it.
You know what? We're going to stay 6 feet apart. We'll stay 7 feet apart. We won't even go to games. We'll watch it on TV, and we'll sit on couches in opposite rooms. But we will have baseball back in a safe.
They're not telling you to stay away from your family. All right.
Why not?
Guys, when can we go to Sharkies? Hold on, guys. When can we go to Sharkies?
When we can go to Sharkies, we're going to live broadcast the game, and it's going to be a celebration of life and Mets. It's going to be beautiful.
Right. And I have learned
we have vaccines.
Not to anticipate when can we. More so, I can't wait till it's proper too, because it will be appropriate to do things again. But just wait till it's appropriate. Don't rush things.
You're going to try to molest a girl again?
Molesting. Wait, no.
What?
Bringing baseball back is not inappropriate. It's just a matter of doing it safe, having empty stadiums, isolating players and stuff like that. It's okay.
All right, it's okay. We believe you.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it. Fwakata them.
Few comments here. Tom says baseball will help heal the country as it always has. Wars, attacks. Remember Piazza in 2001.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill, Mr. Lara says the crack of the bat in an empty ballpark will sound awesome. It will.
Amen.
When Alonso leans into one in an empty stadium in a dome,
It does sound like
the Marlins
pop.
it sounded dropping your.
What?
Wait,
Oh,
what?
you did that on purpose. Okay. Tim says it's an honor to be promoted to Syracuse, but I will demand a trade if they don't treat me right. And James Bunker, I will not do this with you on air. You were a coward yesterday. I joined the Just Too Sweet show, and you were a coward. Tim said, "Come on and air your differences," and you were a coward, James Bunker.
That's true. And James Bunker, you know what? I got a doll for you, a Trumpy Bear. Go to Trumpy. You can even cut the hair and face it to your nuts if you're not grown up enough to have any hair down there. It's really cool.
Oh my God. But he is a Mets fan, so let's.
Coward? Did you say coward?
Coward.
Wow, coward.
Yeah, the Pete Alonso card was funny. All right, that'll about do it for us tonight. We almost kept up to 8 o'clock. Love you too, buddy. Tom says, as George Will said, baseball is a romance, football is a one-night stand. I like that. I like that a lot. I really like that.
I told you, man. Tommy has insight. He does. Beautiful.
I'm gonna make that my next thing on.
You're
Facebook.
over an hour. You promised under an hour.
I did.
Yeah,
we're at an hour and 6 minutes. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Hopefully next week we have a little bit more information on what is happening in baseball. If not, we'll make some shit up. So tomorrow night in the CineSportsTalk group, we are going to talk about The Last Dance. We're going to talk about the Jordan documentary. Friday is the Jader and Kyle show, and then we just do it again starting next week with a full slate of shows. If you missed it yesterday, a couple shows. Kiva catches up. I think they did Apocalypto. And Tim and Eric and Bert joined the Just Too Sweet show. And somebody made a special guest appearance to talk about the Undertaker's documentary, which is fantastic. And if you are a wrestling fan at all, I urge you to search up the Dark Side of the Ring Owen Hart story. It came out last night. Bring a box of tissues with you, Kleenex, whiskey, and do your thing. It's one of those. But round robin real quick. Joe, any final thoughts?
No, it was great show, fun show. We're all desperate for baseball. Hang on for a little while more, everybody. It's coming. It's definitely coming. I feel it's coming. We're gonna have baseball by July. Stay home, be safe, and let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. I don't know where Rodriguez went, but I wonder if he has any final thoughts. Keith, we'll skip to you.
Everything Joe said it beautifully.
Very eloquent.
Do everything right, but don't stop yourself from doing things.
Yep. Screwball, the whiskey that makes you eloquent. Joe, you need a refill. All right.
I do.
My final thought is let's go Mets. That's it. Very simple.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go.
It's simple.
LFGM,
let's go Mets. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. Rodriguez's final thoughts is Farace's always right.
Go Mets.
Later.